Good morning. Welcome to our webinar we're conducting here with Zach Parker from GTL on the short-term care product line. I've had agents have a lot of success with this who work with us over here at IAD. And this is going to be a really basic product demo. We're just going to go in the ins and outs of how the product works. It's fairly comprehensive, should be very easy to grasp. And again, I think this is going to be a huge tool in cross-selling and expanding your businesses. So with questions, we will take questions at the end for Zach. We'll leave the chat open for you to ask at the end. So if you have any along the way, please write them down. And then at the end, we'll go ahead and Zach or I will answer the questions going forward. All right. So with that, Zach Parker, he's our representative over there at GTL, and he's here to do the product demonstration. So go ahead whenever you are ready, Zach.
Awesome. Thank you, Tyler. So thanks, guys, for joining me today. I'm Tyler to learn a little bit more about GTL short-term home healthcare plan. We have had great success with agents selling this plan ever since we did roll it out, I believe about 6 or 7 years ago, actually maybe a little longer. And recently we actually made some improvements to the plan towards the later end of 2023. As you can see here on this title slide, we actually now have cash benefits and some support services for any family caregivers that your clients may have when they do go on claim. So I'll be, of course, touching on those new benefits that we did add. And although we did launch that, maybe about, 6, 7 months ago, now we've already received tons of positive feedback on that new benefit. It's just generated tons of more interest in the plan itself and has helped us set ourselves apart from the rest of the carriers out there who do offer their own short-term home health care plans. So we have tons of more benefits actually in ours that make it really easy for the insured to kind of focus more on their recovery whenever they are diagnosed with some sort of functional or cognitive impairment, so they can actually recover, not having to worry about the stress of paying for these types of services, and actually giving a little bit of respite care to their family caregivers, which isn't really received throughout the industry. So quick little outline of how today's training is going to work. I, of course, will be going over all of the product details, benefits, some riders that are available to tack on to the plan and how the plan is actually going to work. But I would like to introduce you a little bit to GTL to help you better put a face to the name of the company in which you're going to be representing when you do sell our products out there in the field. I'm going to share with you some consumer marketing materials. We'll talk over some underwriting details, give you some examples of some premium rates your clients are going to be looking at. And like Tyler did mention, once we do go ahead and start wrapping up here, we'll go ahead and start addressing any questions that you all may have on the plan itself. So let's go ahead and just jump straight into things here. I would like to first start by extending a very warm welcome to GTL. Got a couple of notes on our company here to get you a little more acclimated with us and who we really are. So our office is located out in Glenview, Illinois. That is a Chicago suburb about 20 miles northwest outside the city of Chicago. And I'm not really too sure where most of you are based. I believe it's going to be Michigan. That's where IAD is actually located. But if you are ever in the area and you would like to stop on by, you are more than welcome to do so. You can reach out to myself. We can set up a meeting with each other. I can give you a tour of the facility. We can talk business strategy. I can even introduce you to some of the key folks throughout the company that you may find yourself working with down the road. And we were actually founded all the way back in 1936. We've been around for a very long time. Later this summer, we're going to be celebrating our 88th birthday. So we're certainly no strangers to the game here. We're true experts in supplemental insurance. So please, don't hesitate whenever you are wondering whether or not you can trust GTL with your clients taking out policies with us, because again, we build the products that are better than anyone else is out there in the industry, and we know them better than anyone else. So please just put your trust in us whenever you do sell any GTL policies. As for our company itself, we are mutual. We're licensed to do business in 49 states. The only state in which we do not conduct any business in is the state of New York. And financially, we're very well off. We currently have an AM Best rating of A minus, which is excellence by their standards. And we have $0 of debt on our balance sheets, which allows us to boast how well we can pay out our claims. We have plenty of capital to address all those viable claims that do come across our desks. And we don't really lag when it comes to actually paying those claims out. Our claim turnaround time, about 8 business days from once we do have all the information that we need received in terms of when we're going to pay out a check to your client. So no worries there. Your clients are going to be very well taken care of whenever it does come time for them to actually go on claim. Now, if some of that sounds a little bit repetitive or redundant, I do apologize. But for any of you new agents who have not yet gotten the chance to work with GTL, there's a good chance you have heard of GTL throughout the marketplace, whether you've attended meetings, conferences, maybe you've heard of GTL through some of your peers. You've probably heard that GTL has this sort of reputation throughout the industry of rolling out these insurance products that really take advantage of all the latest and greatest advancements out there in the medical field in terms of like what care is available to them. And we really try to make it a point of emphasis to take full advantage of all of those new advancements to actually implement them into our products to make sure that your clients are receiving the best possible product that is out there on the marketplace for them. And with that, it allows us to boast that we are true innovators in the marketplace. And I'm going to go ahead and start by warming you up to the home healthcare plan with this consumer video I have. I want to play this for you. This is something that can be used to actually present the plan to your clients. You can send it to them via email. If you're on social media like LinkedIn, Facebook, maybe you have your own agent website, you are more than welcome to share this video here, because I have received so much feedback from my agents that actually let me know that these consumer videos that we have can end up actually selling the plan for yourself with you doing very little work on your own, trying to, convince the client of all the positives and taking out this plan itself, because it does explain the product very high level. It does a great job at letting your clients paint that like mental picture of how the plan is actually going to work for them. So I would strongly encourage you to utilize this consumer video whenever the opportunity does present itself. So let's go ahead and give this a quick watch so you can see just how great that video really is.
There's no bed like your own. And if you suffer an illness or have an accident, the last thing you would want to do is recover in an unfamiliar, hectic environment like a hospital or nursing home. Focus on your recovery in the comfort of your own home with short-term home healthcare insurance from Guarantee Trust Life Insurance Company. Think about your family situation. You may be reaching that age where planning for future care is necessary, or maybe your parents are reminding you they don't want to go to a nursing home. How could being unprepared for either yours or your parents' need for care affect your finances and way of life? GTL's short-term home healthcare insurance is more affordable than most other plan of care policies, and it pays benefits directly to you regardless of any other insurance you have. Home healthcare benefits kick in if you suffer a cognitive disability or can't perform 2 of the 6 ADLs, and no hospital stay is required. The base plan consists of 3 main components, and there are 3 different base plans for you to choose from to match the level of coverage you want. With the home healthcare benefit, your chosen plan pays a benefit for up to 360 payments for a variety of services, including skilled nursing, physical therapy, and general nursing care. With our most comprehensive plan, you can receive up to $162,000 of home healthcare benefits. With the Home Healthcare Aid benefit, you can receive a daily benefit for each day you require the services of a home healthcare aide, depending on your chosen plan, and no hospitalization stay is required. Most likely, you're taking at least 1 prescription medication. With the prescription drug benefit, you can receive benefits for any prescriptions that are filled after the policy is in effect. Just filling your normal prescriptions can help offset the cost of the policy itself. Now let's see how it works. Say you're 65 years old, have the plan A policy, and take 1 brand name prescription that you refilled 12 times over the year. GTL's short-term home healthcare insurance would pay you a total benefit amount of $300 over those 12 months. With an annual policy premium of $365.68, the net cost of the policy would be less than $6 a month. And this is not even including any home health care benefits you may receive. Policyholders also have access to TCare's concierge caregiver support services and a $3,500 family caregiver benefit. Short-term home health care insurance from GTL is flexible and customizable, with a great set of riders for you to choose from. And with only 2 or 3 underwriting questions, you don't have to worry about a long application process or medical exams. So, for a fair premium, wouldn't you rather receive professional care at home? Now is a great time to find out more about GTL's short-term home healthcare insurance.
All right, as you can see, that video pretty much sums the plan up very well. It's very quick to kind of go over all the benefits that actually are included in the plan itself. Again, it's always important to make sure your clients understand all of the benefits as clearly as possible for them. They are the client. It's really your job to educate them on all things that are involved in the plan. But it's really advantageous to you to have kind of a tool in your back pocket to kind of go ahead and, kind of warm them up to the idea before it actually does come time to close the sale itself. So that is exactly, why we have these consumer videos out there, to make your lives that much easier and make the sales process that much easier in turn. So please just use that whenever the opportunity does present itself. And to go off of how well GTL does innovate, now we have made tons of enhancements to all of our products, but our e-apps as well. So recently, I believe this was towards the beginning of 2023, we actually rolled out this new text to sign functionality on our agent portal itself, which will actually allow you to collect signatures when you're not in person with your client via their own cell phone. If you're familiar with GTL and have written business for us in the past, we've always had that voice verification option. We actually added another cell phone option for your clients to go ahead and apply their signature. That's the text to sign functionality. It'll allow you to actually type in your client's cell phone number, and GTL will actually send a text message out to your clients. They open the text message, click the link that's within that text, and they can just sign on their phone as displayed on this image here. After they do go ahead and sign, they click submit, and then on your side of things, on your PC or your computer, you're going to be, let known that the signature was captured, and in about 2 or 3 more clicks, you're going to have a policy number just like that. So it's a huge time-saving option, I will say. If your clients are up to the task of using their own cell phones to collect that signature, it can end up saving you like maybe 3 or 4 minutes itself, and you're not going to have to really do too much coaching, whereas you might have to do so on that voice verification call, just making sure your clients are aware of everything that is going to be asked of them. And we do have great cross-selling tools available at your disposal. I did show you that consumer video, but aside from the video itself, we do have hard copies of actual like brochures and flyers that you can actually send out to your clients or maybe bring with you on any appointments to kind of talk about the plan in further detail. They do go over all of the plan's benefits, what they're going to be paid, and things of that nature. If you do want to go ahead and order any hard copies of materials that we do have on hand, you can most certainly do so through the agent portal. And we also have a postcard. I will say that postcard is not actually available in-house, but these are something that you can actually download onto your PC. You can customize them however you see fit with your contact info. You can print them off yourself, or maybe just visit a local print shop and get some of those printed out for you, because we have seen tons of success with these mailers being sent out to your clients. And then again, the e-app is out there for you all to use whenever possible if you're not meeting in person with your client. We went over that text to sign functionality, but we also have a mobile app that you have to use. If you're using an Apple device, you can download this from the App Store, or if you're using an Android, you'll find GTL's e-app on the Play Store. And I will say, if you do opt to write any business via that mobile app, you will have to be in person with your client. The only reason being is because the signature is going to have to be collected on that mobile device in which you are using, and your client would just go ahead and sign that screen as displayed on this slide here with their finger, just signing your iPad, tablet, maybe you're using it on the cell phone, whatever the case may be, they just need to collect that signature on that actual device. Now, let's go ahead and just jump kind of straight into some of the product details themselves. I'm going to first start by showing you where the home healthcare plan is available to be sold. It can be sold anywhere on this map here that is shaded in this purple color here. And I did mention that the plan has been, recently improved. There's tons of new benefits that have been added onto the policy. And I have a listing of all the states in which that new home healthcare plan has been approved. Those are all in teal on the right-hand side of this slide here. But any state that you see on this map that is purple, you can still sell home healthcare. It'll just depend on whether or not the new healthcare plan is available to be sold there or not. And in terms of why you might want to sell GTL's short-term home healthcare insurance plan, there's plenty of reasons to go ahead and sell it. So first, let's go over what Medicare actually does cover in regard to home healthcare. So first, there's going to be skilled nursing coverage on a part-time or intermittent basis. Also, home health aid services. part-time or intermittent basis if they are needed as support services for whichever skilled care they're going to be receiving. That'll extend to, physical therapy, occupational therapy, and even speech language pathology services, as well as maybe any medical social services that have been advised by a doctor for any emotional and social concerns that are related to their specific illness. However, there's a great deal of things of which Medicare does not cover. That's going to be 24-hour a day care at home, meals being delivered to their home, as well as homemaker services. That's like shopping, cleaning, laundry, all services of which that aren't even related to your client's plan of care. And then lastly, there's personal care by the home health aides, like assistance in bathing, dressing, and even using the bathroom when it is the only care needed. Those are all gaps in which GTL's short-term home health care insurance plan has actually been designed to cover. All of those holes there. So first, I'm going to go ahead and start out by showing you all of the home healthcare base plan benefits in terms of specialized care that is covered under GTL's plan. That's going to be everything listed for you on this slide and the next. So we do have skilled nursing care as well as general nursing care, of course, physical therapy, speech pathology, and occupational therapy. Extended onto the next slide here, we have coverage for chemotherapy in the home, enterostomal therapy, respirational therapy, and then lastly, those medical social services. That's kind of big here. It gets overlooked kind of a great deal, but that's very key because that'll actually help your clients who do have those social and emotional concerns that are related to their specific illness. Now, those services might include counseling or help finding resources throughout their local community to kind of get them back up to speed with the job of, day-to-day living. Now, when it comes to the base plan of the policy, all of those services and what we do pay for each service is going to be listed for you here on this table on the left-hand side. And as the consumer video did mention, we will offer coverage up to a daily maximum based on which plan your client does elect on taking out. There's a plan A, there's a plan B, and a plan C. 3 different levels of coverage. Plan C, I will say, is the most comprehensive plan option that we do have here. It'll pay the most amount of daily benefit available to your client. Plan B is kind of the more middle ground. I will say Plan B is probably the most common plan that we do see being sold. And then lastly, there is Plan A, still offers plenty of care, but again, just lesser than the other 2 options that we do have here. And in terms of the clients that you can sell to, you can sell this to any client in between the ages of 61 to 85. And I will say these rates in which you sign your client up for, they are going to be attained age rates. So the rates will increase as your client does enter another age band, but I'll go ahead and touch on what those age bands are going to look like a little later on down the line here throughout this training. And in terms of how much is available to your client each day based on their plan, those figures are listed for you here on the right-hand side. If they do take out a Plan A, they can take out a max of $150 per day. Plan B, $300, and Plan C being the most comprehensive option, they'll receive up to $450 max per day based on whichever services they need, taking place in their own home. And the dollar amount in which we're going to pay to that client is going to be dependent on which type of service they have being performed in their home, as displayed on this table here on the left-hand side. And again, I mentioned we did improve this plan very recently. We do have those cash benefits via T-Care to offer all of those family caregiver services, but that's not the only thing we did improve. We also increased the amount in which the home health care aid benefit does pay. That is highlighted for you on the upper right-hand corner of this slide. They'll pay $50, $100, or $150 per day based on which plan you do sign them up for. Those numbers have been bumped up from what they previously were. And that home health care aid benefit itself used to only be payable for 60 days. Now it's included as part of the base plan's full annual or benefit maximum of 360 days worth of coverage. So tons of extra benefit there for any of those home healthcare aid services that might not be related to their plan of care. So giving you a quick example of how the plan is actually going to pay your clients. So a couple of conditions need to be met before they can actually go on claim. So in order for your client to qualify for any benefits, their licensed healthcare practitioner must certify them as having either a cognitive or a functional impairment. And that functional impairment, of course, is just the inability to perform any 2 of the 6 activities of daily living without any sort of substantial assistance. And again, the maximum benefit period for the short-term home healthcare policy is 360 days. Now, I will say 360 days, those aren't calendar days. I like to call them benefit days. Those are just days in which they are receiving some sort of, specialized care in their home. So if a client does end up, let's go over a quick little claim example here. Let's say they do end up suffering a stroke and you have a 65-year-old who you signed up for on plan A. They're going to receive 10 speech pathology and 10 physical therapy treatments over a 10-day period. That's 20 services, which over that 10-day period, we can do the math and see how that claim is actually going to pay out. They'll receive $75 for each one of those therapy sessions over the course of 10 days, which adds up to $1,500 in total for benefits being paid. And, the annual policy premium for that 65-year-old is about $365. So right off the bat, under one occurrence, they're already netting, just about $1,100, $1,200 in benefit there to help offset the annual policy's premium. But to touch on how the benefit days actually work, if they were to receive, let's say, 2 therapy sessions over the course of 1 week, that's not 7 days worth of benefits. That's only 2 days of benefits, right? So in theory, this plan can actually end up lasting much longer than 360 days if they do need to go on claim for that long. It is still a short-term care insurance policy, but again, the benefits can actually, find themselves lasting over a year. And then again, we're going to touch on the home healthcare aid benefits. This is new. We did increase those benefits recently. So they're going to receive a daily benefit on the day in which your client does require those services of a home healthcare aid, of course, pertaining to which plan you did sign your client up for. And what's really cool is that a prior hospitalization stay is not even required to take advantage of these benefits. And again, max benefit period for this benefit now, 360 days, whereas in years in the past, maximum benefit period was only 60 days. Now you can see the total amounts in which they can collect under just the home healthcare benefit itself, located for you here, up to $18,000, $36,000, or $54,000 worth of coverage for just this one specific benefit. All figures of which, they would have to pay on their own and dipping into their own pocket to go ahead and cover if care like that is ever needed, and coverage of which isn't available to them under their traditional Medicare plan. And I will say, this plan itself, it does have a pre-existing conditions limitation. So you need to make sure you're bringing that up to every client that you do have. So real quick, just a pre-existing condition is just any medical condition that has either been disclosed or not disclosed to us on the application, for which any medical advice or treatment was recommended or received from a doctor within 6 months prior to the policy's effective date. So what that means, if they do have any loss due to a pre-existing condition, that it's not going to be covered unless that loss begins more than 6 months after the policy's effective date. However, if they have any ailments or illnesses that pop up that they need to go on claim for that are not stemming from a pre-existing condition, those benefits are going to be available on day 1 of the policy. So let's say the policyholder falls, breaks their hip right after the policy gets taken out. They need home health care. That's considered a viable claim because, of course, them falling and breaking that bone, that's not a pre-existing condition. That's an accident that happened. So they're going to have coverage, right off the bat. And now we're going to go over the prescription drug benefit details. This is probably the most popular benefit that I get questions on and most popular talking point with any clients. The video did highlight that most people are taking some prescriptions of some sorts already. And this allows them to actually cover the cost of those prescriptions whenever they do need to get them filled, or maybe let's say they need a new prescription they need to go ahead and take out. So we will pay $10 for any generic drug they are taking out and $25 for any name brand drug. So quick little example of how that does pay out. Again, we're going to look at that 65-year-old that you signed up for a plan A. Let's say they're taking 4 brand name prescriptions and 20 generics over the course of 12 months. Total benefits paid for this client would be $300. The video did highlight this as well, but the annual policy's premium, $365. Their benefit paid out under the prescription drug benefit can help them offset the cost of the policy itself. And the prescription drug benefit has annual maximums that they can take advantage of based on which plan you did sign them up for. Plan A does have that annual max of $300. Plan B has a max of $600, and Plan C has a max of $900 per year. So they can go ahead and max out that benefit. And in some instances, you may find that your client is actually offsetting the entire cost of the policy itself just by taking advantage of the prescription drug benefit. And you might be asking yourselves, like, how can they do this? Like, people are essentially not paying for coverage. I love answering this question just because it's me getting to brag about how good of a company we are and how good of a job our actuaries do in pricing a product and figuring what it is that we can pay and what we're going to have to charge for a plan. It's just that simple. Our actuaries are that great. And of course, not everyone is actually submitting claims for the prescriptions. Of course, I don't advise you to actually bring that up to your clients, but that's just important to know in the back of your head, to know that, GTL has done all the work, done all the legwork, done all the math to figure what it is that we can pay. So if your client does end up maxing out their benefits and offsetting the policy cost itself, just kudos to them. They're taking advantage of the coverage that you went ahead and signed them up for. And another thing I do want to touch on in terms of the prescription drug benefit, that one doesn't have that pre-existing conditions limitation. They can actually go ahead and just take advantage of this day one of the plan. The prescriptions they're taking don't even have to be related to any cognitive or functional impairment that they do have. It can be any prescription under the sun that they are taking. They can go ahead and submit claim for this. Now, what's another thing that's really cool is that they don't necessarily have to be paying anything for their prescriptions. Let's say they met their deductible and they don't have a copay anymore when picking up that prescription. That's fine. All they have to do is go ahead and go to their pharmacy, get a printout of all the prescriptions they've had filled or refilled, send that into GTL, and we're still going to be paying based on our policy benefits themselves. So they have no cost on their prescription drugs. That's great. GTL is still going to pay them based on how many prescriptions they did have filled over the course of that year. Now, that'll pretty much do it for the base plan's benefits on home health care. Now I want to start touching on some of the care that is built into the short-term care that is actually for your clients' loved ones. So what we recently did is we partnered up with this company called TCare to kind of roll out some caregiver benefits to your clients. So this will go ahead and take effect when your clients have an approved home health care claim by GTL, and the family or your client's family member or whoever their family caregiver is will have to go through TCare's caregiver assessment tool. Once that's all taken care of, GTL will then go ahead and pay out $3,500 to your client or whoever that family caregiver is to help offset some of the costs that they're incurring based on, maybe they're having to take off time for work to go ahead and take care of your client, or maybe they're transporting, your client to and from medical facilities. Maybe they need car repairs from driving them around so much. That money can be used by them to help kind of offset all of those costs there. But aside from just the cash benefit itself, they're also going to be receiving targeted concierge caregiver support services that are provided by that company, TCare. Now, that's pretty crucial. I want to get you a little bit more acclimated with who TCare really is so you can kind of trust in them when you do present this to your clients. So who TCare really is their whole mission is just they want to be able to enable those family caregivers, not just like they want to be able to focus on not just taking care of your client themselves, but also, themselves as the family caregiver. So TCare will come in and come up with these sorts of tailored action plans. They have all these tech-enabled insights and comprehensive resources at their disposal to help that family caregiver kind of navigate through that caregiving journey. Chances are, if that family caregiver is caring for your client, there's a good chance that's their first time in doing so. So it's very nice to kind of have someone in their corner, fighting with them and kind of making sure that they're doing the best possible job at taking care of your client. Because again, it can be very intimidating. It's a brand new chapter in their life that they may be stressing over, and they're not sure they're doing everything that they need to do to make sure your client is being able to get nursed up back to health. So I am going to go ahead and share another quick video with you from TCare CEO himself Ali. I actually had the pleasure of meeting Ali last year when we did actually partner with them. He's going to go ahead and talk to you all about TCare's benefit themselves, what their whole mission is, and he's even going to share a little short story from himself on how he actually ended up taking care of TCare's benefit and how it helped him and his family kind of navigate that caregiving journey. So let's go ahead and give this a quick watch to help you further understand TCare's benefit.
Hi, my name is Ali Ahmadi, CEO of TCare. About 7 years ago, my wife and I became caregivers to my mother-in-law that was diagnosed with stage 4 lymphoma cancer. We became aware of this term known as family caregiving. As a former naval aviator, I was trained to navigate myself through extremely hard, difficult situations, and caregiving was one that I found myself lost in. TCare was born as a solution to help family caregivers navigate all the challenges that they go through when they are taking care of a loved one. We are born out of an academic research project that through 7 years of 2 sets of clinical trials, over 15 years of longitudinal data, led to our algorithms understanding for families what solutions at what time, what place are the most effective to help them. My wife and I thought we needed respite or home care services in our caregiving journey. But when we went through the TCare algorithms and the process, what the system identified was that we needed marriage counseling because our risk factor to burnout was a toll that caregiving was bringing on our marriage, and that's what had led us to start thinking about placing my mother-in-law into an institutional facility. And so the process of what TCare works is we engage families, whether the policyholder and the family caregiver, the primary family caregiver, typically spouse, daughter, son. The process to use TCare is extremely easy. It takes 90 seconds on a web portal or a platform to fill out a form, and through that, one of our social workers and our TCare specialists connects with those families, and through a 25 to 35 minute consultation process, they help them navigate through all the resources that they need at any given point in time. To receive the TCare Family Caregiver Support Services, it is extremely simple. We are either a phone call or a text message away for families. There's no claims process, there's no adjudication. Families can have access to the TCare benefit starting day one of owning the policy. TCare is here for you and your clients to empower you to bring a family support system so that families don't ever have to be challenged with the burden of caregiving. And they are spending more quality time with their loved ones.
All right, there you have it, summed up perfectly by Ali. If you would like, you can actually go ahead and use his example whenever you do talk to a client, just to give them a quick example of a case in which he had to go and get marriage counseling. That's just like one of the examples of something that TCare did actually go ahead and, recommend for them. So again, I always want to stress the importance of, painting that mental picture for your client so they can actually really see the true value in taking out a policy like this and all the benefits that are going to be available to them. Now, the TCare benefit is included as a base benefit on the plan itself. It is not an actual rider, so you'll see that included on every plan that you do write. But with that being said, I would like to go ahead and spend some time talking about all of the riders that you do have available for your clients to add on to their policy. And the first of which is going to be this accident and sickness hospital indemnity rider. So those of you, mostly being Medicare agents, you guys all understand the fact that there are some copays your clients are going to have to incur for their first few days they are confined into a hospital. Those first few days are, of course, not going to be covered by most traditional Medicare Advantage plans. So it's important to go ahead and provide some coverage for the gaps that are in those Medicare Advantage plans, and that's where the accident and sickness hospital indemnity rider does come into play. This will allow your clients to go ahead and receive benefits of up to $300 a day if they are confined to a hospital. They can choose between either a 3 and 6 day benefit period, and these benefits actually fully restore after 60 days of no hospital confinement. Now, home health care's base benefits also restore. However, that restoration period is 180 days. The accident and sickness rider actually restores after 60 days, so a little less time there. And what's really nice is that the accident and sickness hospital indemnity rider has unlimited benefit period restorations for the life of the policy. These rates are also going to be based on attained age. So these rider rates will increase as your clients do enter that next age band on the policy. You can find all of those age bands on any of our marketing materials, rate guides. I think we do have a small like quad fold brochure that actually show you those rates as well. So again, I would advise you to kind of keep some of those on hand so you are constantly reminded of what those age bands are going to look like. And I would like to share with you a quick tip. So GTL, we do have a hospital indemnity plan. Most of you may be a little bit familiar with already. That's called our Advantage Plus plan. And there are some clients who you find are not able to qualify for a Advantage Plus Elite plan. So a good little workaround there is that if you ever do come across that situation where one of your clients has to answer one of our knockout questions, yes, and can't take out their own hospital policy, you can still sign them up for a short-term home health care plan and add on this accident and sickness hospital indemnity rider, because the health questions on the home health care app are a little easier to kind of get by and answer no to than those on the Advantage Plus plan. You know, there's less questions and not really related to hospital care as the Advantage Plus policy is. So if that ever does arise, you know, if you're meeting with a client, they don't qualify for an Advantage Plus plan, go ahead and keep the home health care plan in your back pocket to make sure they are receiving some sort of hospital coverage if that is needed for them. Next rider we're going to go over is the ambulance rider. This one is huge. I strongly believe, as well as every other sales folk here at GTL, ambulance rider should be on every single plan that you do sell for GTL because it's extremely worth it. It's a very low cost rider, and if a client does have to go to the hospital, you know, the chances are is that they're probably going to have to take an ambulance in order to get there, right? So the rider itself will go ahead and pay $200 for any ambulance service to or from a medical facility. They don't even have to be admitted to the hospital to collect on this benefit. It can be paid 4 times a year and has a lifetime maximum of $2,500. And the rider itself is less than $5 a month. So if they take out this plan and they take the ambulance once, that benefit itself will end up paying for this rider tons of times over just by taking one ambulance trip there. So please put this on every plan that you do sell. Make sure to at least talk about it to every single client just so that they know they're going to be covered if they do have to take that ambulance trip to that hospital. And this rider itself will also have premium rates. They're not going to be attained age. However, these are going to be issue age rates. So the rates on this rider will not increase as the plan is kept in force. All right, and then we also have a dental vision rider available. This will offer annual benefit options from $400, $800, or $1,200 payable to them. And this one works a little different than some of the other riders that we do have. So this one actually does have a deductible of $100 each calendar year. But in the first calendar year, when they take out this rider, they'll have coverage of up to 50% of the maximum benefit level that they do elect to take out. However, in the second calendar year and thereafter, again, that $100 deductible will, of course, need to be satisfied. But after that's taken care of, now they'll receive coverage for 80% of actual charges, up to 50% of the maximum benefit level chosen for them. And there are some waiting periods built into this rider in terms of what's going to be covered. The first of which is going to be a 3-month waiting period. After that's taken care of, your client will now have coverage for up to $75 for any preventative dental appointments per calendar year, as well as up to $50 for any basic eye exam or refraction per calendar year. And in relation to that $100 deductible, if they do have any preventative care services they need to go taken care of, that $100 deductible is not going to be applicable to those preventative services. They can actually go ahead and collect on those right away without having to satisfy that deductible. The next waiting period we do have is a 6-month waiting period. After that, now they're going to have benefits available for any fillings or root canal they need taken care of up to that rider maximum, as well as receiving $200 for any new prescription glasses or contacts they may need. Of course, we all know as we do grow older, our eyes are constantly changing. So chances are when they do go ahead and get that eye exam done, they're going to find that they need a new prescription. So why not go ahead and sign them up for this rider so that they can actually offset the cost of that new eyewear they're going to need. And then lastly, 12-month waiting period. After that's taken care of, pretty much everything is going to be covered, dental related, bridges, crowns, dentures, partials, outpatient dental surgery, whatever the case may be. That's all going to be covered after that 12-month period. And important to note here is if your client does have any existing bridges or dentures that they had before they even took out the policy, if those need to be repaired or replaced due to an injury they suffered, they don't have to go through that 12-month waiting period. They can go ahead and receive coverage for that right away if they do, suffer an injury that results in them needing those bridges or dentures repaired or replaced. And to give you a quick little example of how much benefit is available to your clients under this rider year in and year out, they have $325 available to them. They have $75 for the dental exam, $50 for their eye exam, and again, $200 they're going to be getting for their new glasses or contacts they are taking out, which in turn, of course, will end up helping them offset the annual cost of this rider itself. And this is a quick example of a 65-year-old you're writing the max benefit for, $1,200. Annual premium on this rider is $443. Once you go ahead and subtract the annual benefits they are receiving through the annual wellness and preventative care benefits they have, the net cost of this rider at the maximum benefit level is less than $10 a month. And of course, that's not even factoring in any other benefits they could potentially have paid out for them. And now we're going to start getting into some of the rates here, giving you some rough estimates on what you're going to be looking at for your clients. But first, we're going to go over how to actually calculate those rates. You can, of course, use GTL's agent portal to go ahead and calculate all these rates for you. But I want to kind of show you on what's going on in the background to help you figure out what these rates are going to look like. So again, they are attained age rates. I was talking about how they do increase as your client does enter another age band. So we're not going to increase the rates when your client actually has a birthday, putting them into that next age band. Of course, that's not really a nice birthday present for someone to give somebody, is asking them for more money. Those rate increases are going to actually occur on the policy's anniversary date, not their birthday. So keep that in mind. But step one in calculating these rates is that you're first going to look for the base rate for your client's plan you elected them in. Those are all going to be listed for you here. If you would like, you can take a snapshot of this slide here. I know Tyler is recording this, so I'm sure you can view that at a later time. You can also find all of these rates on GTL's agent portal. But once you do go ahead and find that base rate for your client, what you're going to do next is factor in the caregiver benefits rates. The caregiver benefit rates do not increase as they do enter another age band. These are going to be issue age rates. But once you do find that figure, you're then going to go ahead and add that number to the base plan rates itself, and that'll find your client's base rate. And of course, you will need to factor in the monthly policy fee, about $1.67. This will, of course, all be done for you if you do plan on, running these quotes on GTL's agent portal. But this is kind of, giving you an idea of what's going on in the background and how these rates are being figured. And then when it comes to the payment types and modes for this plan, you can either put your client on a bank draft or a direct bill. I will say that if your client does want to use a direct bill, that's totally fine. They just won't have the option to pay that bill monthly. It would have to at least be on a quarterly statement, and you would have to write that business on a paper application and send in that first mode's premium along with that application. And when it comes to the rider rates themselves, I have the accident and sickness hospitalization rider listed for you here. These are all going to be, based on $100, $200, or $300 benefit. And if they're taking out a 3 or 6 day benefit period, those rates are all displayed for you here based on which age band they're going to be in. And again, these rates, these will increase as they do enter another age band, but this is the only rider that has attained age rates. And then the rest of the rider rates are going to be displayed for you on this slide here. There's going to be the dental vision rider, the ambulance rider, and that monthly policy fee. Again, all available on GTL's marketing materials, our rate guides. I mentioned that quadfold brochure that you'll find these on as well. So just go ahead and reference those if you ever are out speaking with a client and don't have access to GTL's agent portal. You can pull these up for them very quickly. Now let's move on to some of the underwriting. I mentioned earlier it is pretty easy to go ahead and get a client approved for this plan itself. I have our health questions that we do ask displayed for you here. You can also find these health questions on GTL's application. You can download or print off from our agent portal. And you can kind of go ahead and pre-qualify any clients you might want to sign up for with these health questions right away. These are knockout questions. So if your client does have to answer any of these questions, yes, you'll know they're not going to be eligible for coverage. But again, there's not many health questions they're having to answer here. If your clients are applying for option A or B with home health care, they're only going to have to answer the first 3 questions. If they would like option C, there's just 1 additional health questions they will have to answer. And that's just if in the next 60 calendar days, if they're scheduled for or they're anticipating the scheduling of being admitted to the hospital, nursing home, assisted living facility, receiving home healthcare services, or having to get any surgery scheduled for them. Pretty simple. And then lastly, I kind of want to go over how to file a claim for all of the services on the home healthcare policy itself. It's rather simple. So of course, your client's going to need to complete a claim form. All of our claim forms can be found from the main website. Our main website is gtlic.com, and you're actually not going to want to log in as an agent to find these claim forms. You can just click on the File a Claim button. It's right above the agent login button on our main homepage. Once you click on that, you'll see the claim forms for every single one of our products. But when it comes to home health care, of course, complete that claim form. They're also going to need to include their plan of care from their doctor, as well as the proof of service. Now, I will say that we won't need a new claim form every single time they're receiving services subsequent to the initial claim they first submitted to us. We would just suggest that those claims be sent in to us monthly to kind of make things easier for us to pay out and easier for your clients to kind of track their budget and expenses that way. As for any prescription drug benefits they're receiving, all we're going to need is their prescription receipts. All they need to do is list the medication info on there. They can just write in their policy number they received from GTL, and we would suggest those be sent in to us annually. It's a lot easier to track that way, and it's a lot easier on the client to go ahead and just do it one time by going to the pharmacy and getting a large printout of everything they actually got a script for throughout the course of the year, rather than having them go back to the pharmacy, once a month, trying to get a new printout and trying to sort through all their paperwork that way. And then any other rider benefits that they do take advantage of, all we need, claim form and proof of service. Those can just be sent in to us per event that those do happen. And then lastly, we're going to just cover on the marketing materials. Once again, we do have brochures, infographic flyers. We even have caregiver burnout flyers available to kind of help them, get warmed up to the idea of T-care services they do provide, and how real the issue of caregiver burnout is and the toll that it does take on their family caregiver, whoever that may be. You could download or order any of these pieces from our agent portal after logging in. You can either order them yourself, or you can actually contact our sales support department to order them for you. And our sales support contact number is listed for you here, and as well as on this next slide here. If you do have any product questions, processing questions, whatever the case may be, I will say that sales support is going to be your #1 contact when anything like that does pop up. They are here in the office. They're on the phones all day long. So if you need something really quickly, I would strongly advise you contact them first. You can, of course, contact myself or any of the other sales managers here at GTL. We'll be more than happy to help you. It's just that we're a little tied up most of the time. So if you need something very quickly, just save sales support's contact info to your phone's contact so that you have someone in your back pocket whenever you do need something that does pop up. And that is everything that I did have for you on home healthcare. Again, I'd like to thank you all for joining me today. I know you guys are all very, very busy, so it's crucial that you guys, kind of carved out some time in your day to learn a little bit more about the coverage that your clients do have available for them. You guys are doing great work out there, not just, signing them up for Medicare coverage, doing kind of like the bare minimum there to make sure that they are covered, but learning a little bit more about how to actually cover all those gaps that your clients are probably not too aware that they actually have in those Medicare plans that you are signing them up for. So thank you in advance for all the business you're going to be submitting to us and how well that you are servicing your clients. So we greatly appreciate it here. We're excited to see all the business coming in from you. And again, like if you want to learn any more about any of our products, you can reach out to Tyler. Tyler can reach out to me. We can set up more product trainings on anything else that we do have available for offer. So with that, thank you, Tyler. I'll turn it over to you, see if we have any questions we can go ahead and get answered.
Yeah, so we'll get into questions here. If anyone has any that's left remaining, please go ahead and type them in. I know that we do have a question here of will these benefits pay along with Medicare Advantage plans?
Yes. So GTLs, all of GTL's products, we don't base our benefits based on any other insurance a client does have in force. We always say that our benefits pay above and beyond any other insurance a client does have in force. Your client can technically not have any insurance, and we will still pay them based on whatever benefit amounts you did sign them up for with a GTL policy. So doesn't matter if they're, fully covered after they've reached their deductible with their Medicare plan, we'll still be paying them whatever the GTL policy benefits are under that plan. So yes.
There we go. We heard it from direct from GTL. So is there any more questions that anyone has before we conclude this meeting? Doesn't look like it. All right, well, if you guys think of anything, going about your day, feel free to email me. And again, if I don't have the answer, I'll get with Zach and get one right back to you. And then I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. And thank you for attending the GTL meeting. I really love this product. I think it's very comprehensive and easy to cross-sell and solves a lot of needs that we find in the gaps between Medicare. Thank you, Zach, for your time. And everyone have a great rest of your day then.
All right. My pleasure, Tyler. You take care. If you need anything, just you know where to reach me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course. You take care.
All right, bye now.
Bye bye.